Hello and Merry Christmas, everybody. Welcome to our Christmas special for Slice of Fried Gold for this year. We hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas and we wish you a Happy New Year as well when we get to that.
Yes.
As you may have seen from the title, we are going to do our personal top 10 best and worst movies that we have seen this year. They'll obviously vary from personal tastes.
Yep.
Obviously, disclosure as well, we have not seen every movie this year. Even though we have seen 52 movies this year, we have not seen every single movie that's come out, and at the time of recording, not every movie is out.
Yeah, and also, these lists aren't us saying, oh, this film is technically bad. It's just our personal preferences.
Yeah.
So it's literally just, I didn't enjoy this film.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. This is not gospel.
It could be your favourite film.
Yeah.
Because I feel
good for you.
There's a few films, especially on my list, I think they might be on your list as well, that we have probably put on our worst list that other people would have ranking on their tops list. So it is just personal opinion.
Yeah.
If you're upset about it, fight me.
Yeah, pretty much. So
I could do with a fight. I could do with punching someone right now. Anyway. So we're going to start off with our worst.
Yeah, we are. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. So number 10 for me was Strays.
Okay.
It was just abysmal. It was just really, it wasn't, there was a little bits that were funny, but overall it was just sitting there more groaning, going, why am I wasting an hour and a half of my life watching this? So that's why that's my number 10.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Yours?
For me, my number 10 was The Marvels.
Okay. Yeah.
It was just a poor film.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it was doing.
Yeah.
Bored all the way through, saw all the plot twists coming, saw all the things, they completely destroyed Nick Fury's character.
Yeah.
All for the sake of funny. And it's a good allegory for the state of Marvel right now.
Yeah.
Good word, allegory.
It is a very good one. I agree.
So yeah, I was just... Because for my worst list, it wasn't how much I hated the film, because there was one film that I hated.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what? No, because even though you hated it, you're probably willing to watch it again. If you're in a room with people and they're like, oh, let's put this film on again, I wouldn't get up and walk out the room.
Yeah.
So that film got removed from the list, because whilst I hated it, I could sit there and watch it again. Whereas my worst 10 are the 10 that I'm least looking forward to ever watching again.
Yeah.
And for me, number 10 was The Marvels.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
So number 9,
Yeah.
I've actually put Renfield.
Okay.
Because as much as there was bits of the movie I enjoyed, overall, I thought it was a massive, massive disappointment. Like you said, I'm in no rush to watch it again. They massively underused Nick Cage for me.
Yeah.
That was the whole thing was basically Nick Cage as Dracula, and he was in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then there was more Nicholas Hoult, and we all know I don't like Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah.
So we'll be interested to see what he's like when he's Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Going forward. Sorry, already ruined DC for me. Great. Marvellous. So, but yeah, that's why I went for Renfield.
Interestingly, this morning I'm in an R-ing between Renfield and The Marvels being number 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
It's just The Marvels peaked out Renfield. I was like, you know what? Gun to my head, if I had to watch The Marvels or Renfield again, Renfield would just slightly
just
eke
pip
it out.
it. Yeah. Fair play.
For me,
Yeah.
number 9, I'm sorry, Paddy.
Yeah.
Dream Scenario.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
I don't hate the film. That's the thing. I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed. It had such a good premise.
Yeah.
Such a good start.
Yeah.
And it just fumbled.
Yeah.
Right at the end. Well, not even right at the end. 3/4 of the way through, it fumbled.
And it ruined the whole ending.
You just watched it slowly crash and burn. And I love a disaster.
I
love sitting there going, oh my God, this has gone horrendously wrong. I'm so happy. But no, I was just disappointed.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I agree. Right, so number 8 for me, and this is basically all the same reasons for what you said for Marvels, but I've gone Ant-Man 3.
Okay.
Because despite all the things all the things that are going on at the moment with Marvel and Jonathan Majors and everything, this movie, and we talked about it in the review, so I won't go too much into detail, but it didn't know what it was doing. No. It wasn't observing its own laws and things like that when they were giant and they had no helmet, and you have to have a helmet to be giant because you need the particles in the helmet. But you could remove that and still be giant and be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
They weren't observing their own law, and as nerds, that bugs me when you don't observe your own law that you've set throughout your movies.
It was also, for me, the Ant-Man's going to be the new launching pad for the next phase.
Yeah, didn't.
You're launching with that?
Yeah, it was a poor film.
Yeah.
Poor film. So,
I agree.
And again, I'm not in no rush to rewatch it again. So,
my number 8 was Evil Dead Rise.
Oh, I see. I wondered if that was going to make it.
Yeah, I was just looking back and I was like, honestly, it was just so sort of... The Evil Dead is famous for, like, the first Evil Dead is famous for being truly scary.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is not scary.
Yeah,
so it's failed in its one thing it needs to do, be scary. Yeah. So, it got number 8 for me.
That's fair. No, I don't dispute that. That was on my list, but I feel like I would rewatch that.
Yeah.
So that I was like, I would rewatch it, so I'm not gonna add it on.
Fair enough.
So that's number 7. So, funny enough, my number 7 is Marvel's.
Yeah.
it went higher up for me because you know what? The only thing that I'd rewatch out of that whole thing is the end credit scene, and I can watch that on YouTube. I do not want to watch another clip of that film. I don't want to. I'm done with it.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel really, really needs to sort.
You
don't
even want to watch their little singy-songy bit
in
the middle.
I don't
want to
watch the random musical bit that didn't really make no sense. And funny enough, it's.
Oh, he's closed the book.
I've closed the book just to make because I'm going to move my hands. Like I kind of get where they came from with it, and they wanted to do something different with that musical scene.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was listening to like the Planet podcast, the Weekly Planet podcast, they just said it was just like a little bit where actually they should have played into it more, and it should have been in it more.
Yeah.
Because later on, like when the action was happening, there wasn't them people singing. There was people like screaming and shouting and everything. So again, they weren't observing the law that they set for the film, which they've just done in Ant-Man 3.
Yeah.
So that's why it's on there for me as well. I just couldn't. I can't be bothered with it.
For me, number 7 was Pope's Exorcist.
I knew you were going to do that.
What? I knew I was going to do what?
Because I really enjoyed that film, and I knew you didn't.
The reason Pope's Exorcist is on this list is purely because when I was sitting there making this list this morning, that and what comes in as number 6.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember what happens in the film.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck happens in this film?
Yeah.
So this and number 6 both got these spots purely because I'd have no memory of what happened in them.
Yeah.
And I have no intention to go like watch it to remember.
No, that's fair.
So Pope's Exorcist for number 7 for me.
Fair. Okay. So number 6 for me is Knock at the Cabin.
I didn't see this one. So
the M. Night Shyamalan one. Because I sat there, I predicted the whole thing, I guessed the whole thing. It was not scary. I saw every twist. M. Night Shyamalan was famous for his twists.
Yeah.
And they're just not good anymore. The film was boring. And again, for rewatchable factor, if somebody said, "Oh, should we watch this?" I'm like, "Well, no. Let's watch a good M. Night Shyamalan movie. Let's watch Sixth Sense or Signs or something.
Yeah.
Let's watch one of them when actually he was at the peak of his career."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why 6 is Knock at the Cabin for me. That one.
So 6 for me is The Boogeyman.
I thought about this, and I thought you might add this one as well.
It's just same as the Pope's Exorcist. I was sitting there going, the fuck actually happens in this film? Yeah. I even forgot what the characters were. I forgot that there was a man and 2 daughters. I forgot everything about it.
Yeah.
And then I was rereading the synopsis, and I was like, oh,
yeah.
I remember that. It's just, no.
Well, funny enough, I was thinking about Boogeyman, but then I thought about it and gone, which one would I rather watch? Boogeyman or Knock at the Cabin? I'd rather watch Boogeyman again.
That's fair.
So that's why Boogeyman then didn't enter the list.
Thankfully, I avoided Knock at the Cabin.
Yeah, you were lucky.
Dear viewers, because I was like, this is going to be terrible.
Yeah, you were a lucky man.
Because that week we'd already got something else to watch and film.
Yeah.
So you're like, I'm going to do it as a double bill. Do you want to join with? And I was like, no. You go by yourself, man.
Yeah. Waste of an afternoon that was, wasn't it? Right.
Number 5.
Number 5. And funny enough, you said how you forgot about it.
Yeah.
I forgot this movie existed until literally I think it was this morning it was yesterday morning when we were like compiling the lists.
Yeah.
And he resurfaced online about something. It's Shazam 2. Oh my god, are we in the same?
No.
Oh, I thought that was like we've got the same movie in the same spot.
I'm more worried.
Yeah, I know.
You put
a DC movie in it.
I know.
But you know why? So what I had to do last night was I re-listened to our podcast and went to final thoughts. Because I can't remember what I thought of the movie. So I was like, it must be bad. I blocked it out. I could not remember. So I was listening to it and I was just like, when he got to final thoughts and he said, yeah, Shazam, I was just disappointed. I was like, yeah, no, I didn't like this movie. So he can go into number 5. The issues I had with it was copying bits of all the other previous stuff. And then he literally Zachary Levi's just been on today, the other day, and he made comments about the fact that his brother, Sean Gunn, Thingy's brother, is voicing like another CGI character.
Yeah.
And then he made the comment of, oh, well, if your brother's the boss, I guess it's easy to get the job. So somebody's rather bitter their movie didn't make it. Yeah. So that's why you go in at number 5, Zachary Levi.
Ooh, okay. For me, number 5 was Nun 2.
Yeah, I didn't watch this one.
It was, whilst I remember it, I remember what happened compared to Boogeyman and Pope's Exorcist. Not scary. They didn't follow their own rules, which is something that you've been annoyed with. And it's...
You just can't be dealing with it.
It just can't be dealing with it.
No, that's fair.
You know.
No, that's cool. Right.
We've got our ringing again. I can see it.
A ring?
Yeah.
Right, well, people, sorry if there's a ringing in this. We don't really know why it's doing that.
It just is.
It just is. We'll try and dampen it down a bit, but sorry. Number 4 for me, controversially, and my barber hopefully won't cut my hair off for saying this, was Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right, okay. Okay. How do you like that one?
I have put it this high because I forgot it existed.
Wow.
And then, therefore, I was just like... Because I was going through like the list of all our things, I was like, oh yeah, I watched that. That was like over 3 hours of my life, and I'd completely forgotten about it.
Well, that was the one you actually went out to the loo on, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so, therefore, it lost the
coke test.
It lost the coke test, so therefore... I needed to pee, therefore it has to go high up in the list.
Once again, another one where I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm not going to like that, so I let you go yourself.
Yeah.
See, I know my shit.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I like, at least. For me, number 4 was Barbie.
Oh, okay,
I was too scared, because normally we record our reviews straight after the cinema.
Yeah.
However, either Barbie failed the recording, we had to do it later, or there was some reason where we didn't record it straight out of the way. And everything. Because I went for drinks a couple of days later, and someone made a comment, and I was dying to use that comment.
I think it's because I was seeing, like, Oppenheimer.
Possibly.
Like, the next day or something, so we recorded it at a different time.
I was dying to use that comment in the podcast, but then I was like, no, it's a little bit on the edge.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's Christmas. Fuck it. I'm going to say it.
We're going to do it.
This was the comment, and I stand by this comment for Barbie.
Yeah.
If I wanted to be complained at for 2 hours by a woman, I would call my mother.
Yeah, pretty fucking much. I agree.
So that was number 4 for me.
That's fair. Right, number 3, because I don't think I've ever, nearly as ranted as much as my other 2 movies.
I know which one this is going to be then.
Are You There, God? It's Margaret.
Oh, no, okay, yeah.
I fucking hated that film.
You hated that film.
I really hated that film.
Yeah.
And talking about it's making me flustered already. Okay, I did not enjoy that film at all whatsoever. So that's why it went there. I just thought it was. There you are. Go away, Margaret.
But I think we tried to discuss this in the podcast. Yeah. We were not the audience.
Well, no, we're not. And that's why. But then, therefore, it doesn't colour my picture of the fact that I still did not enjoy this movie.
Even if you're not the target audience for the film, films should be able to be sort of relatively watchable by other people.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, number 3 was Strays.
Oh, it was high up.
It went higher because it angered me.
It did anger me.
Because it could have been such a good film.
Yeah.
It had a great cast, great premise.
Yeah.
And it was just bad. So it angered me.
Yeah.
How bad it was.
Yeah.
And the fact that I had to go watch it twice.
Because I forgot about that.
Because I went and saw it with you.
Yeah.
And then some other friends were like, let's go to the cinema. And I was like, yeah. We got to the cinema and like, we're watching Strays. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
The fact that I had to watch it twice. The fact that I had to watch it twice.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Yeah,
Strays. You are one of the worst films, in my opinion, of the year.
The third worst.
The third worst film of the year, yes.
Okay. Right. Number 2. I've gone Barbie.
Okay.
Was it just what you said? I just did enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
You can argue the same thing with like, Are You There, God? It's Margaret. It's not the movie that's made for me. However, I just felt that, and to be fair, as time has passed, I've met more and more women that have now changed their opinion on it.
Fair.
And they're saying no, it's really not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah.
So I just wondered whether or not there was a lot of hype about it, and now people have kind of realised that actually it's not as good.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why Barbie's in number 2 for me.
I agree. I did want to have Barbie at number 2 for me.
Yeah.
But then I thought, you're being too harsh. There's other ones that are worse.
Okay.
And for me, ones that are other ones that are worse, which I think is going to be your number 1, but it's my number 2, Hypnotic.
Yeah, it's my number 1.
I knew it was going to be your number 1.
I hated that film.
So it's number 2 for me because there's one film that comes before it, and I think you know what's coming.
I don't think I do. I'm trying not to look at your list as well. I'm trying not to.
Don't.
Not looking.
Not looking. Hypnotic was bad. It was just bad.
It was just fucking awful.
It was bad.
It was awful.
You could see the storyline coming from a mile off.
Yeah.
It tried to go down the route of Inception, but Inception worked because there was one twist.
Yeah. Not twists and turns every 2 seconds.
Exactly. So if you're going to do Inception, fine. One twist.
Yeah.
And Hypnotic had way too many twists.
Yeah, it really did.
To the point where everything you were watching did not matter.
Yeah. It really didn't. You literally wasted an hour and 15 minutes of your life because actually the whole thing was pointless.
Because
it literally was pointless.
With the twist with Inception, it causes debate.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it does, is it gives you something to talk about post-film. Whereas all the twists in Hypnotic just basically watered down the story.
Yeah. It ruined it.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, as we now know, that is my number 1. So for number 1 for me is Hypnotic. So Ben, what is your worst movie of the year? Because I am struggling to think.
Beau is Afraid.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Fucking hated that film with a passion. I have never known a film I have hated more. The number 1 on my top list and number 1 on my worst list have both existed in my mind ever since I watched them for completely different reasons.
Okay.
And the fact that it has not left my mind.
Okay.
Like all the others, like 6 and 7, my mind's gone, nah, and we're done.
Yeah.
You don't have to remember that. But the fact that this one has stuck around, I hated it then, I hate it now. It is stupid, it goes on way too long, and that drama teacher needed to tell those kids to stop.
Classic Ben rant there, people. Classic Ben
rant. Because it is literally, Beau is Afraid, is literally an improv class in GCSE drama.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is what it is.
I almost, for a joke, was going to make that my number 1 just to annoy you.
What? Number 1 best?
Yeah. Just to annoy you, but I thought, no.
No, I know what your number 1 best is going to be. Well, I think I know what it is.
Maybe, potentially. But right.
That's our top worst.
Yeah, top worst.
Shall we move into top best?
Yeah, let's do that.
Shall I go first this time?
Yeah. You go first this time.
So for me, top best, number 10 is Champions.
That just edged for number 11. Like my number 10 and number 11, I was like, again, rewatchable factor.
Yeah.
So
for me,
my 10 just edged
the one that Champions just edged out was The Menu. I was sitting there.
Really?
I was sitting there going, which one? Because I liked The Menu, but as I said in the review of on the podcast, I was like, it's just Ralph Fiennes being Voldemort again.
Yeah.
So Champions just edged out The Menu. It's an easy watch. It's a feel good film, done well. I approved of The Champions.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's why my number 10 just pipped it.
Yeah.
But that's only because I feel like I love the animation of it. I went for TNMT.
Right, okay.
Mutant Mayhem.
Yeah.
I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in general. I think they're a really, really strong property. I really enjoyed this movie. I think Seth Rogen helped produce a very good film. I thought the casting for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themselves was really, really good as well. I think the voice acting was good. Yes, the animation was rather rough, but it was designed to look like it had been hand drawn.
Because there's a specific film that's been coming out. We're on to the sequel now, which has that style, and everyone's gone, "Oh, that's popular," and they've been doing that style. But I'm pretty sure that film is about to appear somewhere.
No, it's not. I did not put that on my list.
Oh my god!
Because I still think the first one, Into the Spider-Verse, is far superior than Across.
Fair enough.
So I it's not on my top 10. I knew you were going to think that, but that's why. But for me, I would rather watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over Across the Spider-Verse.
Fair enough. Number 9 for me, Haunting in Venice.
Okay,
good, solid film.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Very beautifully directed.
Yeah.
As I said in the podcast recording, Kenneth Branagh loves his colour, and I am here for it.
Yeah.
All films nowadays are just blind. You know, let's do a blue filter, let's do a brown filter. If it's Mexico, let's do a Sierra filter.
Yeah.
Fuck off with your filters.
Yeah.
I want to see some colour.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 9 for me is Haunting in Venice.
No, that's fair. Okay. So number 9 for me was Blue Beetle.
Okay.
With
one DC taken, you give another DC back.
Exactly. I'm trying to make it level. I thought Blue Beetle was actually a really good, fun time. Yes, it referenced people like Batman and Superman. However, it also felt like its own movie. It could be in any of the universes. It could just be its own movie, and I enjoyed that. I do think the acting in that was good. I do like the cast, and again, it wasn't like you said just with Haunting in Venice. It wasn't dark. It was a youth. You know, he's a young man. You know, so there was light-heartedness, there was funniness, there was jokes, but then there was also serious bits in it as well. And for me, that's, you know, I would rewatch that again over Shazam 2. Fuck you, Zachary Levi. So,
it's a shame because like a couple of years ago, Zachary Levi, in your eyes, could do no wrong.
I know, and he's just gone complete.
How far they have fallen.
Icarus.
Number 8 for me is No Hard Feelings. I really actually wanted to put this higher.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you need to acknowledge that there are certain films that have come out this year that will have to be higher because of what they are.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put this higher. I decided not to in the end. It's a good film.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's probably like the one woman in this world that could probably turn me straight.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Because of her humour. She has got great comedic timing.
And it is
so abundant in this film. So, No Hard Feelings is number 8 for me.
That's fair. Number 8 for me, I went Menu.
Right, yeah.
I really enjoyed that movie.
You did.
Even though it has Nicholas Hoult in it. I really enjoyed the concept of it, and I enjoyed the bits where, as a foodie anyway, I enjoyed seeing the dishes, and then Nicholas Hoult's like piece of shit dish, and things like this. I thought, even though it was a dark horror movie,
I think it was a thriller.
Yeah, well, a thriller.
Yeah.
It had comedic bits that helped raise it, to make the tension feel more.
Think through your words, yeah.
Dyslexia, you are my enemy. So yeah, I really enjoyed The Menu, and it's one that I always recommend if people want They're like, oh, I'm sick and tired of watching the same things. I'm always like, the menu's a good one to watch. It's not like any other movie. It's not like going to watch a Marvel movie or a standard action movie or even like a normal thriller movie. I think it was very different. The fact it was confined to like a restaurant kitchen scenario as opposed to a haunted house or, you know, that kind of thing. So that's why the menu's number 8 for me.
Yeah. Right. Number 7 for me was The Creator. I did enjoy this film.
Oh, okay.
My issues with the film
Yeah.
was it's a Star Wars film pretending it's not a Star Wars film.
Yeah, okay.
And as you said in the recording, you could replace the actor with any other actor and you wouldn't have noticed a difference.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, it is a good film. And I actually, because I went and saw it a second time with other friends.
Oh, okay.
And I kind of slightly enjoyed it more.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew where it was going. Because I think my problem with it first time round is I didn't know where it was going. So it felt like it dragged for me.
Oh, okay.
Second time round, I knew where it was going.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like it dragged as much.
Okay.
So, yeah, that one just, you know, made it in there.
No, that's fair. That's fair. So 7 for me was A Haunting in Venice.
Okay.
I love Poirot. I don't think the Kenneth Branagh, the first two Kenneth Branagh, like I said, Murder on the Orient Express was good.
Yeah.
The Death on the River Nile was a bit bleh, but this, I really, really enjoyed this film. And like you said, again, like we keep on saying, rewatchable factor. I will rewatch A Haunting in Venice over the other two any day. If somebody says, oh, should we watch one of them? Haunting in Venice. And it's not like you actually have to watch the other two to watch that. You can just watch that one and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So for me, and like you said, colour, direction, acting, pucker.
Okay. I think this is going to be the first, like, controversial thing.
Oh, okay.
Number 6 for me, Oppenheimer.
Really?
Yeah. Good film. I have no issues with it.
Yeah.
It's just 5 through 1, I would choose to watch again before it.
Oh, okay.
There's nothing else I can say about it. It's a good film. It's 3.5 hours long?
3 hours on the nose.
3 hours long, and it held my attention all the way through, even though it's got such a big subject, big subject to talk about, and it covers a lot of history.
It does.
So the fact that it held your attention for 3 hours, taught you the story and everything, and I didn't feel walking out confused or anything. It's a good film. It is just 5 through 1. I would choose to watch first.
No, that's fair.
So
controversial. Oppenheimer is not on my list at all.
I really don't know what number 1 is for you then.
Because as that's the thing, like you said, all these movies I would rewatch in a heartbeat. I enjoyed Oppenheimer a lot, but I'm not going to watch that every couple of months.
Yeah.
These kind of movies, I like to sit down, like we talk about, you have Friends on in the background, you have Brooklyn Nine-Nine on the background, we have A Good Place on in the background. These movies, I would happily, stand there and do 2 hours of ironing and have this on, and things like that. I wouldn't do that with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer is I have to be in the mood for it, I have to sit down, and I have to commit.
That's fair.
So that's the only reason why Oppenheimer isn't on my list. I would like to, that's like an honourable mention. For example.
So what is your number 6? Did you say?
No.
Okay.
So
number 6.
Number 6 is Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves, because my top 6, it's just like they're so difficult, but I bloody love this film.
Yes.
It was so good.
I agree.
I thought it was funny. I thought the action in it was good. It was lighthearted. Acting was really good. Some of the twists in it were actually I didn't see coming. Like some of the jokes in it were funny. I thought overall, and especially as like, it's also one that we've got a friend that plays D&D.
Yeah.
BFG. He plays D&D, and I'm pretty sure Luca Roo that comments, that's a follower as well. He said, it's not something you actually have to know Dungeons and Dragons about.
No, you don't.
You can just sit there and watch it, and even if it didn't have Dungeons and Dragons, and it was just called Honor Amongst Thieves or something,
it would work.
It would work.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it's a brilliant aspect for it to be in. And that's why it's my number 6. Everything else just pips it a bit more, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great film.
That's fair enough. Number 5 for me, Sisu.
Oh, I wanted Sisu on this list. I'm so glad it's on your list because I couldn't find space for it.
Oh, yeah. Number 5 for me, I was so pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah.
It really, like, when it first started up and you had the chapter 1, I'm pretty sure I looked at you.
Yeah, we looked at each other.
I'm going to hate this.
Yeah.
And yet, it was so good.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, I mean, I've not got any control over the film or anything, but the only way I can explain it is it's like a parent watching their child walk for the first time.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm so proud for you.
Yeah. I get that.
You did so well.
I get that.
No marketing, no one knowing what it was about, barely any trailers, and yet it was so good. So I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sisu was my number 5.
That's a rogue choice. I wasn't expecting that from you. I'm glad. Like I said, I wanted that on my list, but I didn't. So number 5 for me was Puss in Boots. Solid choice. Solid rewatchable factor. I think it's the animation. It's got that little bit of like the hand drawn stuff. They've kind of changed it. They're revitalizing the Shrek genre, which is a thing for me. I love the Shrek movies.
Yeah.
This movie had all the feels. It had, in my opinion, very possibly the best villain that I have seen in cinema for a long while.
Villains.
Oh, well, yeah, okay, villains. I was thinking War of the Wolf.
Yeah, but Jack Horner was also just as good.
Yeah. I just feel like that actually they went back and properly put some thought back into those movies.
Yeah.
So for me, that's why it's on number 5 for me.
Okay, fair enough. Number 4 for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to be okay with this. Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Like, even in the podcast, I said I preferred this one over the first one.
Yeah, you did.
And yeah, I still stand by it. It takes.
That's fair.
It takes forever to get going.
Yeah.
I will say that again.
Yeah.
I still stand by that statement of it takes forever to get going, but once it's going, it is a great time.
Yeah.
And I can, as you said, it's all about rewatchability factor. I know that the start takes a while to get going.
Yeah.
So I can put it on, do some ironing, prep my dinner, and then once it's getting going, I've just sat down with my pizza ready to watch the good bits.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 4 for me was Spider-Man.
That's fair. Number 4 for me.
Yeah.
Confess Fletch.
Was so good.
For a movie that I didn't think I was going to, not enjoy, but I just didn't have high hopes for it. But to sit there and be literally my belly hurting from laughing so much, it had to go high up. And Confess Fletch for me was just so funny, and I really hope that they continue it. I don't think they are. No. I think it's like that.
I think it flopped.
I think it flopped, and it's not going to happen, which is very upsetting.
We can only hope it gets a cult following.
I hope. I wouldn't surprise me if it did. But for me, number 4, Confess Fletch was such a funny film, such a solid film for something that I wasn't expecting. So I went with that. I went with that instead of Sisu. That was it's the same premise. I wanted Sisu there, but Confess Fletch, it just had me in stitches.
And that is why Confess Fletch is number 3 for me.
Do it.
I Confess Fletch and what's in second place, I ummed and ahed about all day long. I was like, what order am I putting these two in?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I still stand by it's a great film.
Yeah.
I still stand by that. I will die on that hill. However, I know that we've gone and recommended it to some people.
And they haven't.
And they've not reciprocated that. I'm like, is there something I've missed?
Yeah, maybe.
Which is why it got dropped to 3rd for me.
That's fair. No, I think that's good reasoning.
But still a fantastic film, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah.
Even though those people say they didn't enjoy it, they're wrong. But they're allowed to have their incorrect opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why they're incorrect. Yeah. So number 3 for me, bringing Marvel back, was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it would be somewhere in the top 3.
For me, the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is one of my top 5 Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I bloody love that film, and to have it finally come full circle, to see Rocket's origin story. I mean, I cried through that film, I laughed through that film, I cheered through that film. For me, it had everything, and I think it was a good finishing for James Gunn and what he created for Guardians of the Galaxy from the Marvel movies, and I'm glad that he managed to come back and do it. And I thought it was just great, and I thought stellar voice acting, stellar acting, and yeah, that's why Guardians is number 3.
I will agree. You know, I'm not a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy series. The third one, in my opinion, is the best one, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And Guardians of the Galaxy, for me, came in at number 13.
Oh, okay.
So it just missed out on the top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I agree. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, that's fair.
Number 2 for me, it's already been mentioned, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
I loved it. There's nothing more I can add to what you've already said.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was fantastic. You know, I had people at work coming to me going, "Oh, but I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. Will I enjoy it?" I was like, "Yes." And then they've come back to me and gone, "That was a really good film." I'm like, "I know." It was so good for a Dungeons and Dragons film. It's irrelevant that it was a Dungeons and Dragons film. It's a good film.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with the next one. Hopefully they do another one.
Yeah, I think they've officially confirmed they are doing another one.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
I know. I'm so happy about that.
I can't wait. So yeah, that was my number 2.
Fair. That's fair. Right, number 2 for me. Controversially as well, because technically at the time of recording, we only watched it yesterday. But it's Wonka.
Oh.
I bloody loved Wonka. I thought it was a really clever way to do an origin story for somebody that we might not necessarily know too much about, but tie it in with the movie, or because it's obviously a prequel to the Gene Wilder one, but not have so many times, and we've talked about this with origin movies before, especially recently, I can't remember which one it was, but it's like, oh, here I've said this. Look at this. This is your nod to the fact that it's this tie-in.
You're thinking of Hunger Games.
Hunger Games, yeah. Oh, it's a cactus,
Katniss.
Katniss, and it's just like, oh, it's very. Oh, you've literally just said that in the last 10 minutes because oh shit, we haven't mentioned her and things like that. Where this had very little tie-ins to it, but had enough that I was sitting there going, oh shit, that's that, and things like that, and that's what you want, not to go, oh, you've just said that because of that.
The best references are the ones that aren't made obvious.
Yeah.
And so you can then go through and pick it out, and then you can come together as a community and pick it out. So the best way I can think of it is that Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's like pointing at it, going, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the best kind of callback.
Yeah, I agree.
It's then not obvious. It doesn't distract from the film. It doesn't distract from the story. It's just there.
Yeah.
And the film can move on.
I agree.
So yeah, no, okay, interesting. For your number 2.
So that's why. And I know we only watched it yesterday at the time of recording this, but I do feel like I feel like it's a very solid film. I'm very much looking forward to watching it again. I'm very much looking forward to watching that and then watching the Gene Wilder one. I knew I'd heard good things about it, but I'm glad that it wasn't overhyped and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
For me.
Okay.
Right. Ben, you're
number 1 for me. Drum roll. I mean, it's already been said. Puss in Boots.
Legend.
Fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
The comedy, the animation.
Yeah.
Okay, the opening song went on a bit too long for my liking, but I know some people absolutely loved it. So
yeah.
But the comedy, the action, the animation, The wolf, as you said, was a fantastic villain. Jack Horner was a fantastic secondary villain.
Yeah.
And the fact that you even managed to tie in a third villain and still have it all fit cohesively and work and flow with Goldilocks and the Three Bears, chef's kiss.
Yeah.
And also the moment of where they portray an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Oh,
so clever.
It's so clever, so powerful.
Yeah.
And they don't make a big deal of it. It's just there. And it's just,
Yeah.
I really, really loved it. And whereas everything else I ummed and ahed with, it was instantly, I hadn't even written out all the films that we've watched this year. I put number 1, Puss in Boots.
That's fair.
I didn't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Which just, number 1 for me was Puss in Boots. I really hope they continue it with this upward trend.
I hope so.
It was brilliant. Thank you, DreamWorks.
Yeah.
Considering Disney are, sitting in the corner shitting themselves and then clapping with the shit. Call back to our podcast.
Yeah.
DreamWorks, you're on the right path. Keep doing what you do. Well done, guys.
Double thumbs up. Right, so number one for me was, drumroll, Talk to Me.
Okay.
Which was the horror movie that we didn't get to go see.
Yes.
I bloody loved that film. Mm-hmm. I was so upset that we didn't get to go see it in the cinema. For a movie that was basically made by YouTubers that got a budget and then was supported into making the movie, who was actually known for making like spoof action things like Goku versus Superman and things like that, to then make a horror movie that was freaking me out but then making me excited. And there wasn't a moment that even with some good horror movies, there might be a low point. This was like constant. The photography, like the cinematography, was excellent. The acting in it was great. I've recommended it to so many people already. For like, this has like revitalized my love of horror movies, and I'm so glad that I managed to watch it, and I can then add it onto my list. So
fair enough.
For me, number one was Talk to Me.
Yeah.
So, but that's our top 10 worst and best of the year. Thank you very much for joining us. Let us know down below what you thought of our lists. Tell us what your top 10 best and worst are of the year. Let us know what you think. Were we wrong in your opinion? Do you feel like something should have been higher? Do you think something should have been lower? Do you think something shouldn't have been on there at all? It'd be interesting to know what you think. But with that said, have a Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a great New Year. And thank you very much. Make sure you do like this video, subscribe to our channel, get notified by ringing that bell, comment down below like we've asked you to. And if you are listening on Spotify, do give us a 5-star review. Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
See you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.